When love feels like war, who will surrender first? In Wicked Games. Part 2. The stakes are higher, the secrets run deeper, and the heartache cuts sharper than ever. To K. Leigh takes us further into the intoxicating world of passion and betrayal, where the line between truth and deception becomes more blurred with every beat. As emotions spiral and trust begins to crumble, the game gets darker and far more dangerous. Loyalties are tested, past sins come to light, and the question of who to believe becomes a matter of survival and of the heart. This isn't just a love story, it's a story of redemption, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of truth amidst the chaos. If you thought part 1 was intense, buckle up. The real game has only just begun. Can love really survive when the rules keep changing? Chapter 9. I moan, squirming in my seat. My breathing is labored as I run my hand down my chest and along my stomach. That's it. I've always wanted someone to blow on my finger. I stop moving, opening my eyes to Lincoln's and Asher's disappointed pouts, Izzy's giggles echoing around us. As the night wore on, it's become increasingly difficult to come up with something original before time's up, which has resulted in more throwing of the dice and spinning of the bottle. When Izzy spun and it landed on me, Asher's and Lincoln's eyes lit up like a kid running downstairs on Christmas morning. But when they looked to the dice and saw all she had to do was blow on my finger, both wore a similar expression, this time of a little kid who was told they're about to go to Disneyland and end up at the dentist instead. What were you hoping for something hotter? I smirk as Izzy returns to the couch, Asher draping his arm along her shoulders. As things got more personal and heated, the sexual tension within our little bubble has become palpable. Where Izzy and Asher once kept some space between them, they're now practically on top of each other. And Lincoln and I, well, I'm desperate for another lap around the track. I get the feeling he is too. Considering last time I excused myself to use the bathroom, he waited for me in the hallway, where he proceeded to slam me against the wall, stealing another kiss. But when I attempted to drag him up to my room, he resisted, said we weren't there yet. If nothing else, the man has incredible restraint. I imagine when we finally do make it to the bedroom, that restraint will make things even more mind-blowing. Honestly, yes, Asher responds, tearing me out of my hormone-filled thoughts. We've been waiting for one of you to spin the other and it hasn't happened. When it finally does, all you have to do is blow on her finger. I feel shortchanged. Rules are rules, Izzy sings. We can't just make out because you want us to. Hornball. She playfully jabs him in the stomach. If you want to see girls make out, go watch a porno. He waggles his brows, giving her a mischievous smirk. Want to join me? Maybe later, she murmurs seductively, inching even closer to his mouth. The raw need I see coming off Asher has me wanting them to kiss, too. I can only imagine the sparks that will fly when they finally do. Too bad there's no power. It's your turn. She abruptly pulls back, leaving Asher momentarily bewildered, and grabs Lincoln's cell from the table. Opening the timer, she hits start. Go. Asher takes a beat to compose himself, then says, "Never have I ever taken a sexy selfie." "Nope," Izzy responds, then imitates an annoying buzzer. "Already asked? Try again." Asher leans his head against the back of the couch. "Never have I ever slept with someone whose name I couldn't remember the next morning." "Try again," Izzy shouts once more. For being as buzzed as she is, she has an incredible ability to recall everything that's been said. Then again, she's always been ridiculously smart. "Shit," Asher mutters as he licks his lips, squeezing his eyes shut. "TikTok," Izzy teases. "Never have I ever..." He runs his hand through his hair as he struggles to come up with something. 5 seconds, Lincoln taunts. "Never have I ever..." Asher says again, but still nothing. 4, 3, "Never have I ever," he repeats once more. We all join in with Lincoln's countdown, shouting, 2, 1. Izzy grabs the bottle and thrusts it into his hand. "Spin it, baby." He groans in playful irritation as he places the bottle back onto the table. Taking the dice, he rolls as we all lean closer to see under the dim lighting of a few flickering candles in the fire pit. When they land on kiss and lips, Izzy and I erupt into cheers and whistles. I'm so looking forward to watching you two make out, I joke, jabbing Lincoln playfully in his side. He wraps his arm around my shoulders. The heat of his breath against my neck makes my heart skip a beat. I'd much rather make out with you again, he murmurs in a barely audible growl that has me involuntarily squeezing my thighs together. I'd much rather do a lot more than make out. Like what? He leans closer. Be a good girl and you'll find out. I float my eyes to his, closing the gap between us, our breath intermingling. Maybe I like being bad. Is that so? I slowly nod, my lips hovering near his. Oh, baby. You have no idea how bad I can really be. He shifts in his seat, a low groan escaping his throat, just as Izzy says, time to spin. Asher, reminded we're not alone, we tear away from each other, returning our attention to the game. At first, it thrilled me, the promise of what could happen. Now all I want is to go to my room and have a different kind of game night with Lincoln. Asher grabs the bottle and gives it a spin. Every time it closes in on Lincoln, Izzy's eyes brim with hope. As it slows and inches toward me, Lincoln's hold on me tightens. His reaction to the mere thought of me having to kiss Asher is endearing. Then again, I doubt it will be a problem. He'd use his pass, just like Izzy used hers when she was supposed to suck on Lincoln's earlobe. I wouldn't have minded. But we don't exactly have the same history Izzy and Asher apparently have. Finally, the bottle rolls past me and lands on Izzy. She gives him a flirtatious smile. They've had to do a few risque things over the course of the evening, like sucking on an ear or biting a neck, but nothing more than that. Well then, he begins smoothly, a smirk tugging on the corners of his lips as he looks her up and down. I suppose it's time we finally kiss. His statement momentarily surprises me. I'm not sure what I thought. I guess I assumed they already had, unless, before he can say another word, she clutches his cheeks. I suppose it is. She lowers her back onto the couch, bringing him on top of her. I suppose it is, he repeats, brushing his mouth against hers, nipping on her lower lip. The dice says kiss my lips, not bite them. I know, but I've imagined this for years now. I need to take advantage of it while I can, while we're still in the bubble. Izzy tenses below him. Years. Asher nods, rubbing his nose against hers. Yes, is years. All the tension seems to roll off her as she hooks a leg around his waist, yanking him even tighter against her. What are you waiting for? Their kiss starts out simple and innocent, just a light meeting of mouths. But it doesn't take long for it to become more intense, more heated, more greedy. A finger trails down my neck as I watch them, feeling like a voyeur, but I can't look away. When Lincoln brushes my hair behind my shoulder, exposing my skin, I crane my head, silently giving him permission to keep touching me. His soft lips feathering against me causes a shiver to roll through me. I don't recall you rolling the dice, I whisper. I feel his mouth curve into a smile. It'll be our little secret. He brings his hand to my leg, brushing up and down my thigh. Our little secret, I repeat, glancing across the table to see Asher and Izzy still going at it, oblivious to the world around them. I part my legs, an open invitation for Lincoln to continue. His teeth clamp onto my neck and I struggle not to yelp. His hand inches higher and higher, my chest rising and falling in a quicker rhythm. When his fingers ghost against my center, sparks shoot through me. I really wish I hadn't changed into jeans. If I still had on my bathing suit, this would be even more erotic, if that's possible. I want you, he says gruffly. I swallow hard, biting back my moan. Do you want me? Yes, I whimper. He steals a glimpse to make sure Izzy and Asher are still occupied, which they are. Here's what I want you to do. When the two lovebirds break away, you're going to excuse yourself. Say you're tired. I'm sure they'll want to have some privacy themselves. Once they head up, I'll come to you. Okay. I stare straight ahead as Izzy and Asher's passionate exchange wanes, their kiss slowly coming to an end. Lincoln squeezes my thigh. Okay, he asks again, more forceful. Okay, I answer in a breathy voice. Okay, he repeats, removing his hand from me, increasing the distance between us. A giggle bursts through, and I glance up to see Asher helping a rather flushed Izzy back into a sitting position. Well, that was unexpected, hopefully in a good way. He wraps his arm around her, pulling her close. In an amazing way. She beams, fanning herself. Now, I believe it's Lincoln's turn. Or is it Chloe's? Actually, I stand up. I hate to be the one to put an end to game night, but I'm beat. It's been a long day, and tomorrow will be another long one with heading home, provided the power comes back on. Izzy pouts playfully. Always the responsible one, aren't you? Always. Her expression brightens. It's okay. I'll probably be going to bed soon myself. Alone, I lift a brow. She bites her lower lip, flicking a mischievous grin to Asher as she squeezes his thigh. Only time will tell. After saying my goodbyes to Asher, thanking him once more for allowing us to crash here, I start to head inside. Let me walk you, Lincoln offers, surprising me. This certainly was not part of the plan. I'll be fine, I insist. I'm sure you will, but I'd feel better if I walked with you. The tone of his voice makes it clear that this isn't up for debate. I actually like the idea of him walking me to my room. I've never been with someone who so much as walked me to my Uber or the subway station after a date. Hell, a lot of them couldn't even be asked to get out of bed to walk me to the door of their apartment. Okay, I say. Okay. He places his hand on the small of my back, shining the flashlight of his cell in front of us, illuminating our path. Once we reach my room, I turn to him, about to thank him, when he advances toward me, pressing me against the wall, his mouth covering mine. Momentarily caught breathless by his sudden invasion, I still, but the shock eventually wanes and I melt into him, grasping his face, needing more of him. Lincoln tears his lips from mine, growling like an animal starved for too long. You're incredible, Chloe. Throwing my head back, I revel in his unshaven jaw scratching against the flesh of my neck. I scrape my nails down his back, wrapping a leg around him, pulsing against him as he nips at my shoulder. Our heavy and labored breaths fill the silence, every synapse in my body firing. His hand roams my frame, his touch needy and reckless. As he reaches my waistband, I inhale a sharp breath, my core clenching when he unbuttons my jeans. He kisses a hot trail along my collarbone, inching his way back up my neck. His fingers swipe a line along my stomach, teasing me. Finally, he lowers the zipper and brushes the top of my panties. My muscles tighten in anticipation. He bites my earlobe, tugging at it. A bolt of need shoots through me as I struggle to maintain my composure. Keep going, I murmur. A slave to his touch. Don't stop. Growling. His teeth bite down harder as he sweeps a finger under the line of my panties. Do you feel what you do to me? He subtly thrusts against me. Yes, I moan, my eyes rolling into the back of my head. Yes. He inches his hand farther south, my muscles tightening as he nears the spot I need him to touch. When he finds my center, I sigh, and I can certainly feel what I do to you. I bring his lips back to mine, my tongue plunging in his mouth, fireworks erupting in my core. Finally, he pushes a finger inside and I relax, bliss filling me. You're so wet, so tight, so fucking sweet. Just wait till you get a taste. You'll never want another pussy again. Is that right? He arches a brow, his expression playful as he continues stretching me. That's right. I exhale as I move with his motions. God, that's so right. I grab his head again, bringing his mouth to within a whisper of mine, my breathing becoming more erratic with each push, each thrust, each drive. My teeth chatter, my entire body trembling, close to unraveling. Instantly, he pulls his hand away, releasing his hold on me. I fling my eyes open, staring at him incredulously, a panting bundle of hormones. What are you? Suck, he demands, interrupting me, touching a finger to my lips, my eyes remaining glued to his. I slowly open my mouth, swiping my tongue against the tip of his finger. The contact is subtle, barely there, but the way his pupils dilate tells me he's on edge, that he needs more, that he's been fantasizing about this as much as I have. With a moan, I wrap my lips around his finger, sucking every last drop of me off his flesh, giving each of his fingers the same treatment. "Tell me how you taste." Flirtatiously batting my lashes, I pass him a demure look. "Why don't you find out for yourself?" I force his lips against mine. The second our tongues touch, he groans. He tastes of need, of want, of unmatched desperation. Too soon, he tears away, chest heaving, eyes dark. "Go. Get in your room. I'll be with you shortly." Before I can do or say anything else, he spins around, heading toward the stairs with determined strides, leaving me a quivering mess. Oh, and Chloe, I meet his heated stare. "Yes, you'd better not even think about getting yourself off while you wait for me. Tonight, I own you." His voice becomes deeper, more demanding. The hairs on my nape rise, and that includes all your orgasms. Do you understand? I swallow hard. No man has ever spoken to me this way. So brazen, so confident, so hot. There's only one way to answer him. "Yes, Lincoln," I respond in a sultry voice as I walk the few feet toward where he stands at the top of the staircase. I completely understand. When I reach him, I stand on my tiptoes, skimming my lips along his neck. "Hurry back." I remain motionless for several protracted moments, my breath warming his skin. His chest rises and falls quicker, and I notice him clench and unclench his fists. I can't help but grin at how much he wants me. Then I lower my heels to the floor and turn, walking into my darkened room and closing the door behind me without a single look back. Game night really is a lot of fun. Chapter 10. I've officially worn a path in the lush carpet. I thought Lincoln would only be a few minutes, especially once I heard Izzy come upstairs. I took a lukewarm shower, needing the tepid water to dull the flames building inside me. I figured he wouldn't be much longer once I got out, considering how needy he seemed. But as I pace in front of the window overlooking the patio, I can still make out the gentle sound of Asher and Lincoln each strumming a guitar. As if Lincoln weren't delicious enough, he has to play the guitar, too. My ovaries all but exploded when I peered down into the yard and saw how effortless he made it look. Yet another piece of the Lincoln Moore puzzle. Finally, the music stops, as does my pacing, my libido perking up. Any other time, I'd be upset over that, but not tonight. Not when that means Lincoln's that much closer to knocking on my door. If he's even planning on doing that, I wouldn't be surprised if he simply barges in. I walk up to the window, doing my best to remain out of view, so neither one of them realize I've been snooping. I strain to listen for the telltale sound of the French doors closing. When they do, I light up, turning to look around the room. Should I lay on the bed in a provocative pose, beckoning Lincoln to come in if he knocks? Should I put on something sexier than my t-shirt and yoga pants? Should I be wearing anything at all? As turned on as I am about the prospect of answering the door naked, I don't want to miss out on Lincoln undressing me. We only have one night together. I need to experience everything he has to offer. When I hear footsteps growing closer, my heart ricochets into my throat, and my eyes zero in on the door. Then the knock I've been waiting for echoes. I rush over, pausing to inhale a calming breath. But the instant I open the door and see Lincoln holding a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, I can't stop my stomach from doing backflips. "May I come in?" he asked politely, yet seductive at the same time. Of course. I step back and allow him to enter, using the flashlight on his phone to light the way. He walks toward the desk by the window, placing the bottle and glasses on it. He yanks out the cork and pours a deep red liquid into each glass, handing me one. "To blackouts," he offers as he raises his wine. "To blackouts." I clink my glass against his, then take a sip. "I hope you like it. I wasn't sure what kind of wine you prefer, but remember you drinking a red when I saw you Sunday night?" I allow the robust flavor to dance on my tongue. A nice change after the beer. "This is more than acceptable," I say with a smile, unable to mask the tremble in my voice. "Shiraz." I arch a brow. He smiles over his glass, lowering it, licking the wine off his lips. "How could you tell from just the taste?" Apart from a professional sommelier, I don't know many people who could do that. I shrug nonchalantly. I know my wine. Really, I hold his gaze, trying to act serious. Then I laugh as I nod at the bottle, the light from the moon casting a glow over the label. While most people would have to get a better look, I'd recognize the familiar script of that logo anywhere. Penfolds, I say. If there's one thing Australian winemakers are known for, it's a fantastic Shiraz. They certainly are. He brings his glass back to his lips, but his gaze never leaves mine. I've never felt so exposed, as if Lincoln's doing more than mentally undressing me. Maybe that's what makes him so different. He looks into my eyes, instead of everywhere, but as I'm accustomed to. I take another sip of my wine as I attempt to calm my racing heart. This isn't the first time I've slept with a guy I just met, but I've never been this jittery, this desperate. When I lower my glass, he reaches for it, not saying a single word. I allow him to take it and he places them on the desk, then faces me. My chest expands with my increasingly irregular breathing, my body aching to feel him. Finally, he palms my lower back and tugs me against him. He leans down and I crane my head, inching my lips toward his. But instead of feeling his mouth cover mine, he changes course at the last second, bringing his lips to my neck, clamping down his teeth. I yelp, struggling to make sense of the sensations filling me, the pleasure, the pain, everything in between. I now know where that saying "it hurts so good" comes from. Because Lincoln, he definitely hurts so good. I don't even care that the harshness of his bite will most likely leave a rather prominent mark. I want him to mark me. I want to walk around, have people stare and know what I did, what I let this stranger do to me. The idea makes me burn even hotter. When his lips finally make their journey to mine, his kiss is jarring, intense, lust-filled. He tastes of mint, spice, wine, and a flavor I surmise is uniquely Lincoln, one I fear I'll crave for weeks to come. He clutches my face, keeping me in place, his grip powerful, demanding, confident, everything I believe this man is. Then his eyes lift to mine, the fire in his gaze replaced with a hint of amusement. What I ask, pinching my lips together, his smile only grows as he reaches into the pocket of his shorts and pulls out something. He opens his palm, revealing Izzy's dice. She let me have them, said she already has some of these back home. Is that right? I pass him a flirtatious grin. He nods. That's right. Well then, I lift myself onto my toes and brush my lips against his. Let the games begin. I abruptly spin from him, sauntering toward the bed. When I feel the heat of his stare on me, I glance over my shoulder, a shiver rolling through me from the lust in his eyes. Coming, I hope to. With determined strides, he walks toward me, only needing 4 steps to close the distance. I lower myself to the mattress, scooting up toward the headboard, the only light coming from the moon. Lincoln's hooded eyes lock on mine as he crawls onto the bed, advancing toward me like a lion stalking its prey. Apart from our breathing, not a single sound can be heard in the room, the lack of any power leaving everything silent. You don't realize how many noises a house makes: air conditioning, refrigerator, whirring hum of computers until you no longer have electricity. Every little thing seems more noticeable, more intense, more amplified. Like the way Lincoln stares at me in a way I can't recall a single person ever admiring me. Like the way our chests seem to rise and fall in perfect rhythm with each other. Like the way his tongue swipes along his lips, causing them to glisten, leaving me desperate for another taste. Clutching his cheeks in my hands, I pull him closer and press my mouth to his, exhaling into the kiss. It's gentle, yet bubbling with a passion that's been missing from my life for too long now. He threads his fingers through my hair as I wrap my legs around his waist, needing to feel all of him. When I circle my hips against him, he groans, his tongue brushing mine with more need, more ferocity, more desperation. I don't remember you rolling the dice, he murmurs, throwing my own words from earlier back at me. Those dice don't have what I want to do on them. Is that so? He lifts a single brow. And what's that? I run my fingers up and down his back, my nails digging into his skin. He arches into my touch, biting his lower lip as he closes his eyes, a look of bliss washing over him. The rippling of his muscles against my hands makes me want to explore every single inch of his warm, firm body. Curving toward him, I nibble on his earlobe. I want to taste you. He stares down at me, his expression playful. You can taste me if you roll lick and finger. He winks. I slowly shake my head, my gaze unwavering. That's not what I want to taste. He takes my bottom lip between his teeth. I grow lightheaded, wanting him to keep doing that, but harder, and to other parts of my body. Tell me what you want to taste, Chloe, he demands. You? He loosens his bite, shifting position. Oh, come now. I didn't take you for being shy. Pixie. Pixie, I lift my brows in question. Exactly. You're so tiny, like a fairy or an angel. The mood changes as he touches his lips to mine, treating me to a delicious kiss, so different from the way he just had his teeth clamped on me. My angel. I'm not shy. I insist, pressing my hand to his chest, forcing him onto his back, straddling him. I circle him, my motions greedy, insatiable, wanton. And I am certainly no angel, especially not in the bedroom. He cups my face in his strong hands. I can't help but marvel at how big they are. Everything about us seems to be polar opposite. He's larger than life with an intimidating physique. I'm tiny with a stature that makes me often feel overlooked. He's a professional, intelligent man who seems to have his life together. I'm a bit of a drifter who's still trying to figure out who she is. He looks like the quintessential all-American boy who probably played football in high school and could have his pick of any woman. I was the troublemaker, the promiscuous girl with piercings in her eyebrows, nose, and tongue. He probably has a family who loves him, who's always supported his decisions. I often feel like my mother blames me for the divorce, a heavy burden to bear as a teenager, and it's only grown heavier now that I'm an adult. Is that right? I nod. That's right. Prove it. Tell me what you want to taste. I open my mouth to respond when he cuts me off. And don't just say you. I want to know exactly what you want to do. I briefly press my mouth to his, then meet his gaze. I want to suck your dick. He stares at me for several seconds, his jaw hardened, eyes on fire. Then he slams his mouth against mine, his tongue pushing through my lips, his kiss ravenous and greedy. When he pulls away, he grabs my hips, lifting me off him and onto the mattress beside him. Standing, he extends his hand toward me, and I allow him to help me off the bed. Lift your arms, not saying a single word. I simply follow his demand. I'd normally protest, insist on remaining in control, but we're in the bubble. Maybe the bubble's my own personal wonderland. A place where I can lose all control and live out the fantasies I've been too scared of in the real world. He grabs the hem of my t-shirt and pulls it over my head before tossing it to the floor. His Adam's apple bobs up and down as his eyes zero in on my bra. Turn around. Excited nerves simmer in my veins as I obey, facing away from him. When his lips feather that place where my neck meets my shoulders, I moan. That's the spot, isn't it? He murmurs, his fingers traveling toward my bra, unhooking it with practiced expertise. His hands go to my shoulders and he pushes the material down my arms. Does that turn you on? He returns his mouth to me. Yes. I subconsciously squeeze my legs together as his hands find their way to my stomach, the pressure building to a level I didn't think possible. He takes his time caressing my flesh. Whenever he nears the swell of my breasts, I hold my breath, only for him to change direction and return to my stomach. I squeeze my thighs together tighter, biting down on my lower lip. I'm on the brink of telling him to bend me over the desk and fuck me already. Seduction be damned. But he won't do that. He's the tortoise, not the hare. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I have a feeling he wants this race to last all night long. Spread your legs, he orders when I continue to squirm. I don't immediately comply, needing something to dull the ache. He tugs my body against his, pushing a knee between my thighs, parting them. I need you as desperate for me as I am for you. He brings his hands to my breasts, tugging at my nipples. Because I've spent the past weekend desperate for a taste of you, Chloe. He removes his hands from my chest, his motion quick as he spins me around. Stepping back, he crosses his arms and stares at me with a menacing gaze. Take off your pants, but leave on your panties. I peer at him through my lashes. Any reason for that? A magician never reveals his secrets. He winks, a hint of playfulness amidst the sexual tension. More curious than anything, I lower my yoga pants down my legs and step out of them, waiting for Lincoln's next directive. But it doesn't immediately come. He simply stares at me in wonder, his expression softening. There's something incredibly tender about this moment as we admire each other, the moon casting a serene glow in the room, illuminating pieces of us. You are so beautiful. He reaches for my face, brushing a tendril of hair behind my ear. The gentleness of his statement and touch has my knees growing weak. I search my memory for someone else who looked at me the way Lincoln does, for someone else who called me beautiful. Nothing comes to mind. Sure, I've been called hot, cute, even charming, but never beautiful. Needing to break the intensity of the moment before I allow his compassion to burst through my walls, I dig my fingers into his chest, leaning into him. Now it's your turn. Yes, ma'am. He unbuttons his shirt and shrugs out of it before pushing his shorts down his strong legs. And Lincoln, I arch a brow. Yes. No need to keep on your boxers. Not for what I have planned. Yes, ma'am. With haste, he rids himself of his boxer briefs, and they join the rest of our discarded clothes. Approaching him, my eyes don't waver, the atmosphere shifting from playful to sensual. His taut skin is warm as I run my fingers along his chest, savoring the little tufts of hair that dot it. Soft lips skate against mine, but I pull back, depriving him of a full kiss. Do you want me? I murmur, feeling unusually powerful as I scrape my hand down his torso, wrapping my fingers around his erection. Fuck, he hisses, his eyes squeezing shut. I study his expression, ecstasy and need filling the lines of his face, his muscles tensing. I raise myself onto my toes. Say you want me. I feather my lips against his neck, my touch barely there. You know the answer to that. Oh, I know. I respond coyly. I can feel the answer to that, but I want to hear you say it. Bringing my mouth back to his ear, I nibble on it. Two can play your little game, you know. When I pull away, he opens his eyes, his stare intense and bold. Is that what you think this is, just a game? Unwrapping my hand from his arousal, I bring both of them to his chest. Isn't that all life is? Just a game. I drag my tongue along his lips, retreating when he parts them for a taste. Tell me you want me. He jerks my body against his, grinding his hips. I want you, Chloe, so fucking much. The look of pure torture on his face is almost more than I can stand. Almost. But he deserves a taste of what I had to endure. How do you want me? What do you want me to do? What do you want to do? I already told you what I want to do, but I don't want to presume you're agreeable. Presume away, baby. The intensity monetarily cracks, and I laugh. I love how he's seductive, sensual, and carnal one minute, then lightens the mood the next. I never thought it would be possible to have both. Then again, I've never met anyone like Lincoln. Recovering, I pass him a heated stare. Tell me what you want. Your mouth. I'm about to ask him when he interrupts. On my cock now? His hands land on my shoulders, putting pressure on them. Happy to oblige, I rake my fingers along his chest, allowing him to push me to my knees. When I dig my nails into his skin, he releases a growl, his nostrils flaring, not out of anger, out of unbridled need. Keeping my eyes locked on his, I kneel before him, taking his erection in my hand once more. He holds his breath, every muscle in his body becoming even more rigid. And I do mean every muscle. I run my tongue over my lips, my heart hammering in my chest as I pause. I may be on my knees, but I've never felt so powerful. When I slide my tongue along his length before taking him into my mouth, tension rolls off him. Damn, Pixie. He digs his fingers into my scalp as he begins pumping into me, his rhythm slow at first, You have some mouth on you, don't you? I knew that about you the instant you went off on me at the bar. But this. His grip on my hair tightens as he wraps his hand around it, pulling it. So hungry, so desperate, so determined. This is something I only fantasized about. His hold becomes more forceful, guiding my head. I swirl my tongue around his tip, savoring the taste of pre-cum before relaxing my throat, taking him even deeper. Fuck. He groans, on the brink of unraveling. He drives harder into me, then releases my hair, suddenly stepping back. Would I begin? But I'm soon interrupted. Get on the bed. I arch a single brow, confused why he pushed away when he was seconds from his release. Now, Chloe, he demands. I scramble to my feet and hurry toward the bed, scooting up to the headboard. I stare at him, expecting him to join me, but he doesn't. Not right away. He simply admires me. I grab the duvet to cover myself, but he shakes his head. Don't let me look at you. I swallow hard, feeling exposed, but I follow his command, keeping my arms to my sides, allowing him to examine every inch of me. His admiration gives me an added boost of confidence, and I prop my legs up, spreading them, an invitation to see even more of me, his green eyes darkening. He stalks toward the bed, his steps deliberate, drawn out, measured. When he lowers himself onto the mattress, he rests his elbows by my head and finds my lips, his kiss sweet and addicting, at complete odds with the way he just fucked my mouth. I fear this strange dichotomy will be my undoing. As much as I love being spontaneous, I prefer being able to read people, determine their next move. With Lincoln, I never know what he has planned, what his intentions are. He moves along my jawline, down my collarbone, hovering over my alert nipple. I squirm, bracing for his touch, desperate for his touch. Something you need, Pixie. His voice is deep and soft. Yes. And what's that? I lock eyes with him. For you to taste me. With pleasure. When he covers my breast with his mouth, I throw my head back, my body fusing to the mattress. With immense pleasure, his teeth tug on my nipple, his tongue circling it, driving me wild. I'm not sure how much more of this teasing, this build-up, this foreplay I can take before I explode. I'm on edge as it is. I've been on edge all day. Hell, all weekend. Now isn't the time for teasing. I'm already at my breaking point. As if able to read my thoughts, he traces soft, tantalizing lines along the curve of my breasts, down my stomach, circling my belly button before settling between my thighs. He hooks his fingers into my panties, and I lift my hips to allow him to lower them down my legs. Instead, he grabs my ass, propping me up. I furrow my brow, unsure what he's doing. But before I can utter a single syllable, his mouth covers my panties, the warmth of him against me driving me crazy. My underwear could be a pane of bulletproof glass instead of just a flimsy piece of fabric. For all I care, it's still a very unwelcome barrier. Please, I moan as he continues licking and sucking on me through my panties. Something I can help you with. Yes, I narrow my eyes. I need your mouth on me. It is on you. No, on my skin. No panties. He studies me for a moment, then shakes his head. I told you before that all your orgasms belong to me tonight. Did I not? You did. I exhale, desperate for release, to have him consume every inch of me. That means I get to decide exactly how you come. And I want you to come like this. He brings his mouth back to me, sucking and nibbling, and I melt into it, moving with the rhythm he sets. I have to admit, there's something incredibly erotic about this. It doesn't take long for that familiar sensation to bubble in my core. My muscles tense as I pulse against him with more urgency. He moans, the vibration pushing me higher and higher. Then he scrapes his teeth on my clit, sucking, and I scream, waves of ecstasy washing over me as I come undone, riding out one of the most intense orgasms for what feels like hours, but is probably only a minute or two. When I finally start to return to earth, he meets my eyes and smirks, hooking his fingers into my panties and sliding them down my legs. Then he returns to me, burying his mouth between my thighs. I exhale in utter bliss, savoring in how expertly he tastes me, his tongue drawing out my orgasm even longer. Fuck, you're wet! It's what you do to me. I lower my hand, toying with my clit, spreading my juices around, bringing my finger to my mouth. I suck on it, recalling how much it turned him on before. And that's all it takes to turn him on again. He grabs my hips, his movements quick as he flips me onto my stomach. His arm snakes under my waist and he props me onto my knees. He leans over me, his chest hair tickling my back. Is this okay? Having you from behind. Yes, I stammer. While I prefer being on top so I can be the one in control, I'll take Lincoln however he wants. This position is probably better anyway. I won't have to look him in the eyes. I'll be able to stay detached. I'll be able to walk away and carry on with my life when the blackout is over. Good. He straightens himself and steps off the mattress. I watch as he grabs his shorts, pulling a condom from his wallet, not saying a word. He returns to the bed and grasps my head, forcing my eyes forward once more. I don't argue, don't protest, don't return my gaze to his. I stare at the headboard, every noise putting me more on edge. Finally, the bed dips and I feel his erection against me, teasing me. I close my eyes, rocking back into him. You're greedy, aren't you? Yes. I bury my head into the pillow. Tell me what you want. He inches himself inside. I sigh, bracing for him to push the rest of the way. But he doesn't. Instead, he pulls out, waiting for my response. I want you to fuck me, I pant, aching for him, my desperate plea ringing in the air. He slams into me, both of us still as he fills me to the hilt, savoring this sensation of fullness that's so new, so unexpected, yet so satisfying. He exhales, as if also surprised at how incredible it feels. Then he covers my body with his hands gliding up my arms, his fingers linking with mine. When he moves, gently at first, I sigh, matching his rhythm. He kisses my shoulder blade, skating his teeth against my skin. And for the record, I'm not fucking you, Chloe. Then what do you call this? Possession, plain and simple. I moan at his gravelly voice, losing myself in this erotic moment. Possessing your mind, your soul. He clamps his teeth onto my neck, pain pulsing through me momentarily before being replaced by the unmatched pleasure building from his measured movements. Your body, oh God. I ball my hands into tighter fists, my grip on his fingers intertwined with mine growing stronger. I bury my head into the pillow, biting down on it. I can honestly say I've never been with a man like Lincoln, a man so practiced in the art of seduction. Sex is supposed to be an act that tantalizes your senses, hypnotizes your mind, captures your heart, breathes life into your soul. But not for me. I've made sure of that. Until now. He moves with greater urgency, his own breathing erratic and uneven. With each thrust, he drives deeper and deeper, forcing my body to climb higher and higher until I scream, falling apart, my mind becoming hazy, unable to form a coherent thought. That feels incredible. Lincoln exhales, his voice strained as he pumps faster, drawing my orgasm out. When I'm not sure whether I can take any more, he grunts, thrusting deep into me, holding my hips in place as he jerks through his own release. We remain motionless for several long moments, both of us struggling to get our breathing under control. As his body covers mine, I feel his heart beating violently in his chest. Satisfaction fills me at the idea that I did this to him, that I worked him up to this point of exertion. God damn, he says, slowly withdrawing and peeling off me. His touch is gentle as he supports my stomach, helping to lower me onto the mattress. My legs have never shaken or quivered as much as they are right now. I've never been this sated after sex. A woman could get used to this. Once he's certain I'm okay, he pushes off the bed, grabbing the duvet and covering my body with it. He rids himself of the condom, tossing it into the nearby trash can before returning to me. Without saying a word, he crawls in beside me, pulling me into his arms, my back to his front. I need to clean up, but I'm content in this moment. My brain quiet for a change. I don't remember inviting you to stay the night. I tease in a lazy voice. You didn't. He plants soft kisses along my neck and shoulder, causing that fluttering to erupt in my stomach once more. Then what makes you think I want you to stay? Because I know something you don't. And what's that? That I'm a huge fan of morning sex. If you thought that was incredible. He circles his hips. Moisture pools between my thighs and I'm instantly ready for round 2 or 3. I've lost count at this point. That was just a warm-up for tomorrow. I turn around to face him. You think so? Do you? I don't think. He brings his lips toward mine. I know. When he leans in to kiss me, I press my hand against his chest, pushing him away. Taking advantage of his momentary surprise, I force him onto his back and crawl on top of him. Well, I know something you don't, too. I bring my mouth to his. And what's that? I bite his lower lip and tug at it before releasing it. That I'm not done with you yet. God, I love blackouts. Chapter 11. An obnoxious pinging wakes me from one of the best night's sleep I've had in a long time. Then again, Lincoln worked me to the point of utter exhaustion. I've never been with someone as enthusiastic and salacious. And let's not even talk about his stamina. With him, it certainly is a marathon. Slow and steady won the race. Again, and again, and again. It takes me a few moments to register what I'm hearing. The sound strange against the silence. Then it hits me, my cell phone. I bolt up, grabbing it off the nightstand, surprised to learn I have service again and am being bombarded with texts from my concerned friends. Nora, oh my God, I just saw the news. A blackout in Vegas. What happened? You'd better text and tell me you're okay. You guys better be okay. Please text, like now. Evie. Hey, I heard about the blackout in Vegas. I know you and Izzy are still stuck in that shithole. Just let me know you're okay. The news says cell towers have been affected, so I don't expect an immediate response. But I promised Nora I'd text. You know how she can be about stuff like this. There's no reasoning with her. Love you. Stay safe. Flopping back onto the bed, I check my flight status to see it's not canceled, then type out a quick text to both of them to let them know I'm okay and that I'll be getting into New York later today. Curious as to what happened to cause the loss of power for a little over 12 hours. I open the web browser and run a quick search. Unfortunately, there's not much information, apart from the fact that Vegas lost power for a period lasting a little over 12 hours, but that all power and cell service is now restored. I'm about to check my email, cringing at the idea of all the unanswered messages waiting for me, when an arm snakes around my waist. If it were anyone else, I'd shrug them off, make up some excuse, like needing to get to the airport to catch my flight, which I do, but I crave one last taste of Lincoln before our bubble bursts. Moaning, I melt into him, craning my neck to give him better access. He feathers light kisses against my skin, his touch different from the commanding, dominant lover he was last night. Now he's gentle, tender, affectionate. Truth be told, I like this side of him just as much, maybe even a little more. His hand roams from my stomach, creeping its way up to my chest. As his fingers ghost over one of my nipples, I whimper, my body coming alive. He pushes me onto my back, then crawls between my legs. His vibrant green eyes are lazy in the light of day, his exhaustion from our night of sin evident. But that doesn't stop him from wanting me again. Lowering his mouth to my breast, he delicately scrapes his teeth along the sensitized flesh of my nipple, and I lose myself to his touch yet again. Synapses firing. I wrap my legs around his waist, thrusting against him, my body a slave to sensation. Say you want me. His voice is raspy from broken sleep. I smile, running my hands through his hair. Every time he woke me up in the middle of the night, he demanded the same thing. Now, whenever I hear those words, I'll only think of Lincoln, of his desperation to have my desire. I want you. Say you need me. This time. His plea is filled with more urgency. I need you. Groaning. He pulls away. I loosen my grip around his waist, allowing him to lean back and roll on a condom. And I need you. More than I've needed anything. He covers my mouth as he pushes into me, filling me to my breaking point before retreating. continuing the same torturous yet satisfying rhythm, over and over and over. Unlike last night, there are no carnal words, no harsh, punishing motions. It's sweet and affectionate, making me feel more fulfilled than any previous sexual encounter. My body quivers, my heart quickening as I struggle to think of something else. Anything other than the amazing way Lincoln seems to strum me, like a practiced musician would his instrument. He lowers his mouth to my neck, licking and biting before he murmurs, "Let go, baby. Let me have it." My breathing grows ragged when his motions increase. Before I can fight against it, I unravel, a kaleidoscope of lights blinding me. He moans my name, finding his own release before collapsing on top of me, nuzzling his head against my chest. I run my fingers through his wayward hair, swiping at the sweat on his brow. My eyes shift to the window, sunlight beaming into the room. Everything seems so different in the light of day. I'm not sure if it's a good different or bad different. Come to dinner with me. Lincoln's voice cuts through the tranquility. I smirk. Did you forget I'm headed home today? My flight's still showing as being on time. Not here. Back in New York. I want to take you out. My heart catches in my throat, my body becoming as rigid, my brain unable to tell my lungs to breathe, to perform that simple task of drawing in air, then exhaling, noticing my reaction. Lincoln pulls back, meeting my eyes, his brow wrinkled in confusion. What is it? I shake my head, my lips parting. Most normal people would agree, would want to see if these feelings were real, if they'd survive outside the bubble. But I'm not most people. I don't have the luxury of being able to pursue a fantasy. Pushing against him, I free myself from his hold and roll off the bed, scrambling around the room for my discarded clothes. Chloe, what is it? He stands, stepping toward me. I thought you... Trust me, I interrupt, finding my yoga pants and tugging them on after the search for my panties ends up being fruitless. You don't want that. We're not exactly compatible, are we? I stumble across my t-shirt and yank it on, feeling much more comfortable having this conversation now that I'm dressed. Lincoln doesn't seem to mind his lack of clothes, though he's still as confident as he was last night, as he was yesterday when he gave me that lame tortoise and the hare analogy, as he was that first night I saw him. We're as opposite as they come. I continue, my tone frantic, not just in physical appearance, but in personality. There's no way this, I gesture between our two bodies, would ever work out. We don't even know each other. This was never an issue with any of the other guys in my past, but they were aware of the score going in. They were happy with the score going in. I broke one of my rules. I failed to have that important conversation with Lincoln. I didn't think I had to. We all agreed last night. What happens in the bubble stays in the bubble. And once you get to know the real me, you'll... Do you always try to control everyone else's decisions? He interrupts, his voice calm. I don't try to control everyone else's decisions. You're doing it right now. You're standing here, claiming I'd never want to be with you, the real you, but you won't even give me a chance to get to know the real you. That's all I want. A chance. I wrap my arms around my torso, shrinking into my tiny frame. Once you get to know the real me, you'll understand how much of a mistake it is. Last night was great, better than great, but we were in the blackout bubble. What about this morning? The blackout bubble is gone, yet I still want to know you. I still feel the same thing I did last night. That hasn't changed just because the power's back on. I still feel this connection, and I know you do, too. That wasn't a connection. That was just the result of too much alcohol, being stuck in this house, and a pair of dice. You're wrong. I felt it the instant I touched you Saturday night. The entire time you were going off about how much you loathed Vegas. All I could think was that I wanted to know you, but that I'd never get the chance. And then I did. We kept running into each other, over and over. And I knew it wasn't a coincidence, that it wasn't just a chance meeting. I didn't even know your name. Yet what I felt for you was stronger than anything I felt for anyone in a really long time. It makes no sense. And I can't even attempt to explain it without sounding like I'm fucking crazy. But there it is. He licks his lips, his chest heaving as he collects his thoughts. It takes every ounce of resolve I possess not to avert my eyes to steal a glimpse below his waist. But that's not a solution. Not here, not now. I'm not asking you to move in, he says, his voice softer. Hell, I'm not even asking you to be my girlfriend. I'm just asking you to take a chance on getting to know me, on allowing me to get to know you, to see if this has the potential I feel in my heart it does. On a long inhale, I close my eyes. Maybe if my life weren't so complicated, I'd be able to say yes. Just like it takes a certain type of person to date a woman who already has children of her own. It also takes a certain type of person to date a woman who has an alcoholic mother. When she falls, I'm the only one who cares enough to catch her. And when I do, Lincoln will just let me fall too. I open my mouth, wanting to tell him all of this so he'll understand. Instead, all I can muster is, I'm sorry. I hold his gaze for a moment, then dash into the bathroom, closing the door behind me. Seconds stretch as I lean against the wall, hyper-aware of every sound, every heartbeat, every breath, every frustrated sigh. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, I hear his footsteps retreat, the door to my room closing. I exhale deeply in what should feel like relief, but it isn't. It's something else. Regardless, I shake off the exchange, convinced I made the right decision. As great as last night was, it wasn't real. We were in a fantasy world where nothing else existed outside the bubble. Fantasy and reality don't mix. Lincoln and I in the real world won't mix. Not wanting to get stuck in Vegas yet another night because I missed my flight, I turn on the water and take one of the quickest showers of my life. As I rush around the room, throwing my few belongings back into my suitcase, I spy a piece of paper placed on the desk next to the full wine glasses from last night. I stop in my tracks, my heart thumping as I walk toward it, admiring Lincoln's neat yet masculine scrawl. Dear Chloe, I meant what I said. I do believe we have a connection. This connection won't go away simply because the blackout is over. I felt it before, and I still feel it now. There's a reason we kept running into each other. The universe has a plan for us. You just need to finally realize that. Until then, I'll be yours, Lincoln. But I took your panties. If you want them back, meet me at the living room in the Park Hyatt. Thursday night, 9 o'clock. The sound of a door slamming reverberates through the house, and I snap my eyes away from the paper, dropping it on the desk. I listen as heavy footsteps storm from Izzy's room, past mine, continuing down the hall. I get the feeling things didn't end well between Izzy and Asher, either. My phone dings, alerting me to a text message, and I rush to it, finding a message from Izzy. Requested an Uber. Will be here in 10. Meet me by the front gate. I type out a quick reply. Okay, just packing up. I hit send, then finish throwing all my things into my suitcase. Once I'm confident I have everything I came here with. Well, almost everything. I open the door to head out to catch our ride to the airport. Glancing behind me one last time, I spy Lincoln's note, taunting me. Oh, fuck it, I exhale, rushing to the desk and stuffing the paper into my bag. The house is silent as I make my way down the steps. Everything about this place different from the day before. It lacks life, vitality, hope. All the more reason I need to get out of this town as quickly as possible. I step out the front door and walk down the long drive toward where Izzy's already standing, looking down the street for our ride. Hey, Chloe. Neither one of us says anything else for several long moments. Despite the silence, our thoughts are deafening. I glance at her, catching her eyes. We both shrug at the same time, then say, Vegas. Our laughter fills the air as we wrap our arms around each other, offering the comfort we know we both need. When our laughter dies down, Izzy comments, So you're not going to see him again? It's not a question. She knows me, is fully aware of my reasons for not getting involved. I pull out of her embrace. What choice do I have? She pinches her lips together, nodding. Thankfully, she doesn't press the issue. You're not going to see him again, I ask. She meets my eyes. What choice do I have? Chapter 12. Nothing interesting happened in Vegas at all. I smile at Nora's doe-eyed expression, Grateful to be back in New York and doing something I do every week, Thursday happy hour with two of my best friends. It was just an uneventful weekend in the 10th ring of hell, I say dismissively, taking a sip of my martini. Apart from the blackout, Nora says, "Do you have any idea how worried we were?" I read the texts. I respond, rolling my eyes. All 187 of them. Nora, "I did not send 187, she scoffs, indignant, smoothing her strawberry blonde hair. Then she gives me a devious smile. It was more like 186. The sound of our laughter carries through the trendy bar. This is exactly what I needed after my weekend. A night with my girls. As I take in my surroundings, it's almost like I never left New York. The city's still the same. Nora still gets distracted anytime I ask her a question about her own wedding plans. Evie is still madly in love with her boyfriend, Julian, and I'm the perpetual single girl. Same as it was last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. My experience in Vegas didn't change any of that. At least that's what I tell myself. So, tell me. Evie squares her shoulders. How was the bachelorette party? Did you have to wear something ridiculous? Like a crown of penises? No crown of penises, but I did have to wear a necklace of phalluses. I furrow my brow, deep in thought. Phalluses. I look between my two friends as we all murmur amongst ourselves, as if trying to answer a riddle. Actually, it can be either. Aiden, our bartender, interjects with a wink. I turn my attention to him and tip my glass toward him before taking a sip. Thanks. Aiden, what would we do without you? Pay a lot more for your drinks than you do. I'll drink to that. Evie salutes him with her Manhattan before sipping it. Please tell me there are pictures of you wearing a line of phalluses around your neck. Nora's eyes all but plead with me to admit there are. Probably, but that's not even the worst part. There's something worse than wearing penises around your neck, Evie asks in disbelief. Oh yes, we all had tank tops, bedazzled tank tops. Oh God. She laughs, a devilish glint in her eyes. What was on it? Mine said bride's bitch, and the maid of honor wore one that said bitch of honor. They look equally horrified at the thought. I can promise we won't be doing anything that cheesy for my wedding. And this, my darling Nora, is why I love you. I raise my martini glass, toasting her. You'd love me even if I made you wear a crown of penises. You're right. I would. I pass her a sincere look, then bring my drink to my lips, sipping on it. When a song I recognize from Fallen Grace comes over the speakers, I choke on it, liquid shooting out of my mouth. Before Vegas, I never paid much attention to the band. In the past 24 hours since I landed back at JFK, I feel like I see and hear them everywhere. A constant reminder of what I did in their Vegas house while they were back in London. Almost like the universe refuses to let me forget it. What is it? Evie asks in concern. Nothing. Drink went down the wrong pipe, that's all. At that moment, a bar back rushes behind the counter, his arms filled with bottles. Here's the Belvedere you needed, he says, handing them over to Aiden, who gets to work on restocking the shelves. All I can do is stare at the sleek bottle, trying to convince myself it's just a coincidence. It has to be. I'd purposely ordered a different kind of vodka for my martini to avoid the memory of Lincoln. Yet something doesn't want me to forget. Chloe, Nora says. I whip my eyes to hers, my expression panicked, confused, and everything in between. A flicker from the large screen television hanging over the bar catches my attention. I lift my eyes, scrunching my nose at the low-budget commercial for a used car dealership. Normally, I wouldn't give it a second glance, but I can't stop staring at the actors dressed as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and you guessed it, Abraham Lincoln. I could deal with hearing Fallen Grace. The radio stations play them at least once an hour, but the Belvedere vodka and a commercial with Abraham Lincoln? It's too much. Maybe Lincoln was right. Maybe the universe does have a plan for us. Pushing out of my bar stool, I grab a few bills to cover my drink and throw them onto the bar. I check my phone to see it's just a few minutes after 9. If I hurry, I can still make it. Where are you going? Evie asks as I shrug into my jacket, then pull on my gloves and wrap my scarf around my neck. I meet their curious expressions, parting my lips as I struggle for a way to explain this. There's so much I should tell them. But time is not on my side. Instead, I give them the short answer. I need to go see a man about a pair of panties. Then I turn from their confused faces, running as fast as I can in my rather impractical boots away from the bar and toward the Park Hyatt, pushing through the crowded sidewalks, tourists and locals not moving as quickly as I want them to. At least Lincoln chose somewhere close to our usual Thursday evening spot. I would have been screwed otherwise. The air is frigid, the wind whipping my face, but I've never felt so warm, so sure, so happy. When I reach the hotel, I momentarily pause, staring up at the tall building. Everything's about to shift. I'm taking a risk if I walk inside, and I'm taking a risk if I don't. But now I know which risk I want to take. I can no longer deny there's a reason our paths crossed. The universe made that loud and clear tonight. Resolved. I step into the foyer, then take the elevator to the lobby. The ride seems to last an excruciatingly long time instead of the few seconds it actually does. When the doors open, I exit and am instantly swallowed up into the frenzied atmosphere of the lobby in the Manhattan luxury hotel. Spying the living room past the check-in desk, I move toward it, my heels seeming to echo in the cavernous space as I cross the threshold into the swanky lounge. Couches and chairs fill the area, giving it the feel of being an actual living room instead of a bar. My eyes float between the tables, looking for a familiar face, but I don't see one. I grab my phone out of my purse to check the time. 9:30. Maybe I'm too late. Maybe he's already left, thinking I wouldn't show up. My shoulders dropping, I turn around, hoping the universe will ensure our paths cross again. At this point, it's all I can do. Or Facebook stalk him. Thank God for social media. Just as I'm about to head out, my gaze settles on a pair of familiar green eyes at a table in a secluded corner, and my mouth ticks up into a smile, a tiny exhale of air escaping. He's dressed similarly to the way he was during our first few encounters: tailored jacket, crisp shirt, designer shoes. It's been less than 48 hours since I last saw him, but it feels like it's been an eternity. His stare unwavering. He slowly stands, buttoning his suit jacket as he makes his way toward me. You know those scenes in movies when everything else falls away, leaving just the two main characters? That's what happens here. The world around us instantly disappears. We're no longer in a popular lounge in Midtown Manhattan. I'm no longer thinking about all the stress in my life. It's just Lincoln, just us, just this bubble. An incredibly sexy and addictive bubble. As he approaches, his scent grows stronger, wrapping me in comfort. I thought it would be strange to see him anywhere other than Vegas, but it's not. It feels right. You're late. His deep voice sends heat curling down my spine. I'm rarely on time. Several silent heartbeats pass as he peers at me, almost convinced I'm not real. These panties must be pretty special if you came all the way here just to get them back. I slowly shake my head. You can keep them. Then why are you here? He arches a single brow. I stand on my toes, my mouth feathering against his. For you. He brings me into his warm body, enclosing me in his perfect embrace. God, I was hoping you'd say that. He's about to kiss me when I press my hand on his chest, stopping him. But this doesn't mean I'm going to move in with you, I say, repeating the same words from his own plea. This doesn't mean I'm going to be your girlfriend. Not right away. All this means is that I'm willing to get to know you, that I'm willing to let you know me. That's all this is. Just a chance. That's all I ever wanted with you, Pixie. A chance. Chapter 13. I've often wondered what heaven would be like. Not really as motivation to live a virtuous life. More like curiosity. Is it like floating on clouds with beautiful music playing in the background? Saint Peter welcoming you with open arms, as is depicted in popular folklore. Or maybe everyone's heaven is personal. Maybe Mother Teresa's heaven is filled with all the people she strove to help. No more signs of hunger or abuse. Robin Williams is probably free from depression, cracking jokes about anything and everything. And Steve Jobs' heaven is probably a replica of that garage in Los Altos, where he built the first Apple computer. Just like my heaven is wrapped in the arms of a man who was a mystery mere days ago, one I never planned to see again. but I couldn't stay away. Yup, I have found my own personal slice of heaven here on Earth, and his name is Lincoln Moore. An arm snakes around my midsection, pulling me against a large, firm body. Chest hair tickles my back as I relax into him, nuzzling his nose into the crook of my neck. He inhales, then moans. The deep, guttural sound sparks my libido to life, although it doesn't need much help. Not after our night of some of the most amazing sex I've experienced. Of acting like two longtime lovers who haven't seen each other in months, maybe years. In reality, we're practically strangers. All I know about Lincoln Moore is he's a lawyer I kept running into while I was in Vegas for the bachelorette party from hell. Oh, and that he's incredible in bed, and against a wall, and on the kitchen island. I'm looking forward to finding out how amazing he is in even more places and positions. How are you feeling? He rasps out as his tongue traces a circle on that spot where my neck meets my shoulder, causing a shiver to trickle down my spine. It's amazing how he's learned to read my body in such a short amount of time. What I like, what turns me on. A trained musician playing an instrument, familiar with the exact spot that makes me hum, makes me vibrate, makes me sing. Horny. It's silent for a beat. Then his throaty laugh echoes against the walls of his bedroom. What am I going to do with you? I shift in the bed, peering into his lazy eyes, the green still dazzling first thing in the morning, hooking a leg around his waist. I subtly circle my hips, his need for me already prominent. I have a few ideas. In one swift move, he rolls onto his back, pulling me on top of him. My legs fall on either side of him and I lean down, allowing my hair to form a curtain around us. I feather my lips against his, then retreat. He cranes his head, chasing my kiss, but I remain just out of reach. Do you like being a tease? Readjusting my position so I'm sitting upright. I bite on my lower lip, smiling coyly as I move against him. I think you like it when I'm a tease. My voice is demure as I bat my lashes. With a growl, he grabs the back of my head, his fingers digging into my scalp as he brings my mouth within an inch of his. My breathing becomes ragged, raw hunger flowing through me. No man has ever turned me on to the level Lincoln has. No man has ever brought me to the brink of the kind of pleasure I didn't think possible, then pushed me over the edge to the point of oblivion. No man has ever brought me to my knees, made me want more. But I do. I want so much more from him. I lick my lips, then plump them out, encouraging him to dive in for a taste. Instead, his teeth clamp onto my lower lip. The ache hits me in my core, making me burn even hotter for him. He wraps his arm around me and flips me onto my back, covering my body with his, brushing my hair away from my face. His eyes lock with mine, vibrant green to my lackluster gray. I wonder if he can read my thoughts, if he knows I'm mentally comparing him to every man in my past, every mistake, every reminder of why I've always done things my way. Don't. A single word is all I need to confirm my suspicions. I part my lips, but he captures my protest with a mind-erasing kiss. In my lifetime, I've been treated to thousands of kisses. Not one of them has touched me like Lincoln's do, have made me feel like they were invading my soul. Like I needed them to breathe, like I'd perish without them. I don't want you to think about anything else when you're with me, he whispers against my mouth, the roughness of his unshaven jawline invigorating as he leisurely makes his way down my body. Like we said last night. He floats his eyes to mine as he settles between my legs. I'm just asking for a chance. We'll take things slow. When his tongue lands on that spot that brings me extraordinary pleasure, I sigh, succumbing to him. I doubt this qualifies as taking things slow, but it feels too good to tell him to stop now. Shit. I check my watch to see it's almost 8 in the morning, then drop to my hands and knees and search under Lincoln's bed for my panties. It's a mystery how they always seem to disappear around this man. Then it hits me. Jumping to my feet, I grab my boots and head down the hallway of his apartment in the heart of Chelsea's art center. The exposed brick, combined with steel accents and reclaimed wood furniture, give it a masculine vibe. It's not a huge place, but given the real estate prices in this part of the city, It's probably valued at a couple million. Yes, he's a lawyer, but he's still young. At least he seems young. I'm not sure how old he is. I'm not sure I want to know how old he is. I round the corner into the living room and skitter to a halt, the scene that greets me leaving me breathless. From the instant I met Lincoln, I found him attractive. Dark hair, mesmerizing green eyes, muscular build, a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow that had me fantasizing about what it would feel like scraping on my thighs. When I was treated to the vision of him playing guitar, I didn't think anything could top that in terms of sexiness. I was wrong. So fucking wrong. Because I've discovered something even sexier than Lincoln Moore. All 6'3" of pure masculinity, playing guitar. And that's him sitting at the round bistro table in his breakfast nook. An impressive view of the Manhattan skyline visible in the wide expanse of windows behind him, reading the New York Times, a pair of dark-framed glasses on his face. Fuck me, I murmur, then slap a hand over my mouth. He looks up, a brow cocked, with a smirk. He folds the paper and pushes back from the table, standing. I don't think I'll ever tire of seeing him dressed this way. Something about the dark jeans and tweed blazer makes him look like a sexy college professor. Maybe if my professors were as attractive as Lincoln, I would have been more excited about learning. Hell, I may have even taken them up on their offers of extra help. I think I did. He leans toward me, his lips brushing against my cheek. It's an innocent gesture, but it still leaves me lightheaded. Quite a few times, if I'm not mistaken. He pulls back and winks. I briefly consider dragging him back into the bedroom for one more quickie. With the glasses on, increasing the distance before I make us both late for work, I cross my arms over my chest, pinching my lips into a tight line. On that note, you wouldn't know where my panties are, would you? Why have they gone missing? He asks in faux surprise. Indeed. My hands rest of the lapels of his jacket, able to make out the defined muscles even through the few layers of clothes. It's quite the mystery, isn't it? We should open an investigation into the matter. I shake my head, inching my lips closer to his. It doesn't matter how many kisses he showered me with over the past 12 hours. I still need one more. I have a feeling I'll always need one more. That's unnecessary. I already have a suspect in mind. He playfully arches a single brow. Is that right? That's right. He palms my lower back, yanking me hard and fast into his body. And who is this panty thief? You, I breathe. Prove it. I can't. Not yet. But it fits your maillot. You do have a track record of stealing my panties and using them as a bargaining chip. His lips feather against mine. You know what they say, don't you? What's that? My husky voice is unrecognizable. I suppose that's the Lincoln Moore effect. He has me acting like a completely different woman. Or maybe being with him allows me to be myself for a change. Desperate times call for desperate measures. His lips move from mine, trailing hot kisses along my jawline, settling in that spot where my neck meets my shoulders. He nibbles as I throw my head back, allowing him to push me against the floor-to-ceiling windows. The chill of the January air on the other side of the pane tempers the heat coiling in my veins. And what had you desperate enough to steal my panties? It worked last time, didn't it? His gaze locks with mine, his smile revealing the devil hiding beneath the tweed jacket. I had to make sure you came. He smirks, then finishes, back. I thread my fingers through his hair, pulling him to me. I knew I could get you to admit you took them. A beat passes before he groans, grinding his body against mine. Naughty girl, you play a wicked game, don't you? It's how we got here. Isn't it? I say breathlessly. By playing wicked games, there's no one else I'd want to play these games with. Pixie. The sincerity in his voice almost has me running for the hills. Instead, I lean in, savoring in the heat of his mouth pressed firmly against mine. When he retreats, I avert my eyes, out of my comfort zone. I've never stayed the night with a guy before. Well, I suppose I did Tuesday night when I let Lincoln sleep in my bed during the blackout. But there was no awkward goodbye. I ran off and locked myself in the bathroom before we could get to that point. But now, I'm at that point. What do I do? What's the proper protocol? Do we make plans to see each other again? How soon is too soon? I wish I'd asked Nora or Evie. but that would mean telling them about Lincoln. I'm not sure I'm ready to share him with anyone yet. I'm not sure we're at that stage in whatever this is. Well, I clear my throat, pushing against him. I should get going. So, I arch a brow, expectant. So he says when I don't finish my thought. My underwear, I hold out my hand. What about them? Aren't you going to give them back? I wasn't planning on it. There's an arrogance about him as he retreats from me, bringing his now empty coffee mug into the open kitchen area. I look around his clean apartment, marveling at the simple act of him washing out his coffee mug. I tend to allow mine to collect for days before I finally throw them all into the dishwasher. Why I follow on his heels. Concerned the only thing of value you can offer me is my own underwear. He ponders my question for a moment, then advances toward me as I stand near the island, a hand on my hip. I'm more than confident I can offer you something else of value. And what's that? He shrugs, the heat that was present in his eyes turning into something more me. I stammer, words escaping me. I've never met anyone so transparent. Someone who laid it all out there for the world to see. In a way, I envy that about him. Wish I could be more like that, but I can't. Not with my past, or my present. Able to sense my unease, he covers my mouth with his. Whenever you're ready, no pressure. Like I said, I know, I breathe, just a chance. Exactly, just a chance. His reassurance lingers as he places a hand on my lower back and leads me toward the foyer. But I'm still keeping your panties. Huffing, I playfully roll my eyes. I'm going to run out of panties soon. Then what are you going to do to lure me back to your lair of sex? I'll figure something out. When we reach the door, I face him, and he curves into me, our lips meeting. I can be pretty resourceful. I've heard that about you. Chapter 14. The familiar drone of a frenzied newsroom meets me the second I round the corner behind the reception desk of Blush magazine. Nails click at keyboards. Phones ring incessantly. Low music plays from some cubicles, except those belonging to the fashion department. Their little area is often akin to a rave. Glancing at my watch to see it's 5 minutes before 10, I hurry to my desk and drop my bag before continuing through the open space. A woman on a mission. I duck into the break room to find it empty, considering most of the editors are probably already in the conference room waiting for the weekly meeting. I'll need to pull some sort of story out of my ass to pitch today. It won't be the first time. I make a beeline to the Nespresso machine, pop a pod into the brewer, and place a cup beneath the spout. The instant the nutty aroma fills my senses, my shoulders relax. After my night of little sleep, I need this magical concoction. Espresso is the perfect pick-me-up when you want something stronger than coffee, but weaker than cocaine. You needed to see a man about a pair of panties. A familiar voice cuts through my moment of peace. I curse under my breath, then whirl around, meeting Evie's hardened expression as she leans against the door jamb, arms crossed over her chest, an inquisitiveness in her green eyes. How was I going to explain my sudden retreat from the bar last night and the panties I hadn't given it much thought this morning, thanks to the spell Lincoln cast over me? With my head held high to make my 5'2" frame appear bigger than it is, I grab my espresso and walk toward her. One of my hookups kept a pair of my underwear. I wanted them back. I avoid her stare as I skirt past her, heading toward the conference room. I've never looked forward to our Friday staff meeting as much as I do right now, if for no other reason than to give me a few minutes to figure out what to tell my friends. I should be able to gush about this new guy in my life, but that's never been my thing. In fact, there's never been a guy in my life to gush about. Isn't there a waiting period required by law before doing that, or something? Lincoln and I aren't even an item? At least, I don't think we are. I'm not sure what we are. All I know is he's got me all out of sorts. And he likes stealing my panties. I wasn't born yesterday. Chloe, Evie's right on my heels. Relentless, as always. We've known each other over 5 years now. Hell, we practically worked on top of each other until last week when I moved into the assistant editor office. If you think you can say you went to get a pair of panties back from one of your hookups without me calling bullshit. She steps in front of me before I can disappear into the conference room. You'd better think again. I take a sip of my espresso, doing my best to remain confident. There's no way this was just a hookup. she continues. Not with that shit-eating grin that was plastered across your face last night. I know that look. It was the look of someone excited about something. You had a glow about you. Come to think of it. Squinting, she scans my body. I wonder if this is how criminals feel when they've finally been apprehended and try to convince the officer the bag of drugs in their coat isn't theirs. Except I wasn't caught with drugs. Although Lincoln's more addicting than even the most potent narcotic. You still have a glow about you. Her eyes brighten. You had sex last night. Evie, I hiss, trying to hush her. While I've never been one to keep my sex life to myself, this is different. I care about Lincoln. I don't want to broadcast our fantastic sexcapades for all to hear. I don't want to share him with anyone. Not yet. I want to keep him all to myself for a little longer. I fear the second I talk about him, it'll make it real. I'm not ready for that yet. I have sex a lot. Well, not a lot, but enough that going to see some guy isn't a big deal. I straighten my spine. It's not the first time I left you and Nora at the bar to hook up with somebody. No, it's not. She wraps a strand of her striking red hair around a finger, toying with it as she continues assessing my demeanor. But I don't think last night was just a hookup. I think you like someone. I open my mouth to protest when the conference room door swings open. Maggie, the editor-in-chief's assistant, standing there, an air of superiority about her. Are you two coming? Viv's waiting on you? She spins around. As usual, she adds under her breath. My expression brightens as I smile cheerily. Come on, Evie. We don't want to be late, I chirp as I head inside. She leans toward me. This conversation isn't over, she murmurs, her voice low. I didn't think it was, thankfully. After the pitch meeting, Evie's too busy with assignments to continue to press me about the new man in my life, which gives me time to figure out how to address the elephant in the room, or at least the very large cock in my life, as I attempt to catch up on all the work I missed while I was out of the office, as well as come up with a way to spill the beans about Lincoln to my friends. My phone dings with an incoming text. At first, I ignore it, assuming it's a tip about a breaking story in the world of the rich and famous. I can't be bothered with that stuff. Not with a deadline looming on articles that go to print in just a few days. But when it beeps again, I float my eyes to the screen, smiling when I see it's not from a source, but from my very own panty thief. And that smile only grows wider when I open the text, which reveals a photo of a familiar pair of panties. Missing you like you wouldn't believe. But at least I have a souvenir. And the scent is intoxicating. You really do have a fetish, don't you? Is it bring some random girl's panties to work day? I didn't receive the memo. I hit send, relaxing into my chair as I focus all my attention on my phone. One text. Yet I've forgotten everything I'm supposed to be working on. Hell, if Lincoln asked, I'd probably sneak out of work to meet him for a quickie. Although I'm not sure Lincoln's capable of a quickie. His bedroom skills are those of an expert. A man who's made sex an art form. He's a masterpiece I doubt I'll ever tire of experiencing. You're not just some random girl, Chloe. You never have been. My heart warms as I read his words. Then the text bubble appears, indicating he's typing more. And to answer your question, I do have a bit of an underwear fetish. At least when it comes to your underwear. Well then, I hate to disappoint you. I haven't had time to do my laundry since returning from Vegas, so I had to go commando today. Fuck! A part of me wishes I were with Lincoln so I could see his expression. Pupils dilating, green eyes darkening with unbridled lust and need, jaw clenching, muscles tightening. God, I love that look on him, knowing I make him react that way. You really know how to torture a man, don't you, Pixie? Only you. I like the sound of that. I want to say I like the sound of that too, but I don't. Responding with something safer instead. Think of me today. I haven't been able to stop since the moment I saw you. Me either. I hope that's enough to make him believe I'm willing to try. Even if my words aren't overly amorous. I'm just a work in progress. When no additional texts arrive, I return my attention to my computer, concentrating on my work once more. Hours passing. I'm so focused. I don't tear my eyes away from my screen until I hear a slight knock on the exterior wall of my cubicle. The receptionist holding a large white box with a pink bow wrapped around it. A courier just dropped this off for you, She places it on my desk. I eye the box much like one would glare at a device with a timer and wires attached. What is it? I'm sure if you open it, you'll find out. She snips, then whirls around. I've always wondered how some of our receptionists got their job, since they all seem to have a stick shoved up their asses. Unless a handsome man walks through those doors, I can't really complain. I started at that desk myself. I'd like to think I wasn't so bitchy, but I probably was. As I look back at the box, a suspicion it's from Lincoln forms in my gut. Who else would send me something at work? How does he know where I work? I don't think I told him, apart from the fact that I work at a magazine, but there are hundreds of magazine offices in New York City. After loosening the ribbon, I lift the lid and pull back pink tissue paper, laughing when I see what lies beneath it. I reach for the envelope placed in the center and slide out the small card. Lincoln's familiar scrawl greeting me. My dearest Chloe, I've worked out a solution to our little dilemma and your lack of undergarments for the day. I glance at the contents, my cheeks flushing at the dozen or so pairs of panties before reading the rest of the note. They're all laundered and ready for you to wear. It was torture sitting here, thinking about you not wearing any panties. No one's allowed to steal a glimpse of what's mine. And rest assured, Chloe, you will be mine. I'm already yours, Lincoln, P.S. In addition to the panties, there's a little extra something for you. I'd love to see you in it. Whenever you're ready. I place the card on my desk and rummage through the box, pushing the panties aside. My pulse increases when I find a sexy black lace negligee with a matching thong. The thought of Lincoln's reaction to seeing me in this has my blood pumping, electricity coursing through my veins. Phone in hand, I type off a quick text. What makes you think I'm interested in seeing you again? A little cocky, don't you think? Not a little cocky. At least I think it's impressive. It gets the job done. I burst out laughing as my fingers fly over the screen. It certainly does. I'm about to type out another reply when my cell rings. Lincoln's name appearing on the screen. My heart catches in my throat, face heating as I bring my phone up to my ear. Hello, I answer as seductively as I can get away with at work. Say thank you. His deep voice murmuring those words brings me back to that bar in Vegas when he picked up my tab. Say okay, say thank you. It hypnotized me, and I succumbed to his request without a moment's hesitation. That spell is still cast over me. Thank you. Good girl. A shiver rolls down my spine, renewed desire igniting deep within. This feels so surreal. How far will I take this? Will I always do what he demands? The idea doesn't scare me. It excites me. I want him to tell me what to do. I like not having to think about all the potential ramifications of every single one of my actions. It's refreshing to turn it off for a minute, to quiet all the noise and drama that usually clouds my mind. Now, tell me, do you want to see me again, he asks. His voice as calm and collected as ever. I picture him in a large office sitting behind an impressive wooden desk, one wall lined with amjurs and the CJS, much like in my father's own office. Despite no one using hard copies of legal encyclopedias these days, everything is probably impeccable. It's not stacked high with boxes containing evidence or notes or other case material. There's a place for everything, and everything's in its place. A far cry from my cubicle, which on a good day looks like a bomb went off. Or are you having second thoughts about giving me a chance? Never, I admit breathlessly. Good answer. Then I look forward to seeing you, soon. You're not going to ask me when I blurt out after a beat. No, I'm not. I understand this is new territory for you, so I won't push. When you're ready, so am I. His tone lightens. Although I hope you don't wait too long, because now that I've had a taste, I'm not sure how long I'll be able to go without you in my arms. A flutter erupts in my belly and I feel like I'm floating. The force of the butterfly's rapid wings lifting me up. Have a good day, Pixie. You too. I linger on the line a moment longer, about to hang up when I call his name. Lincoln. Yes, I chew on the inside of my cheek. How did you know where to send my gift? It's quiet for a beat before he answers. What would you say if I Googled you? I can hear the smile in his voice. You Googled me. I wanted to surprise you. I don't know much about you, other than your name, what you do for a living, and that you make the most adorable sound when you're about to come. Yeah, it's called a moan. No, it's not that. It's more like a mule. His voice grows heated, wanton, lustful. This excited mule I can't get enough of. So please, don't make me wait too long to hear that again. I won't. I respond before I can stop myself. Promise. I imagine him smiling at my response. Hell, I'm smiling at my response. Goodbye, Pixie. Goodbye, Lincoln. I stay on the phone a moment longer, then end the call. With a sigh, I try to return my focus to what I was working on, but all I can think of is Lincoln. There's this mysteriousness about him, which makes me want to learn even more. Was he born in New York? Where did he go to law school? Does he have brothers, sisters? What's his family like? These are all things I've never cared enough to learn about any other man. Now I'm desperate to have a fuller picture of Lincoln Moore. Navigating to my internet browser, I type his name into the search bar. I hit enter just as a voice startles me. What is this? I quickly close out of my browser before I have a chance to look at the results. Snapping my eyes up to see Evie hovering in my cubicle staring at my gift. I was low on underwear and didn't feel like doing laundry. I lie nonchalantly. Bullshit. When she reaches for the card, I don't fight her. It was only a matter of time before she found out anyway. We spend over 40 hours a week together. She takes a few seconds to read. Then her wide eyes dart to mine. Who's Lincoln? How does he know you're not wearing any underwear? Is he the one you went to go see about your panties last night? And why is he yours? He's a guy? I gathered, but I hold up my hand, cutting her off. I take a deep breath, summoning the strength for the conversation that's about to follow. He's a guy I like. And yes, he's the panties guy. My lips quirk into a smile. A panty thief. Evie stares at me, her mouth agape. Her response similar to one she'd have if she just learned I'd been leading a double life as a sex abstinence advocate. Then she squeals, her words coming out a mile a minute. Who is he? Where did you meet? What's he like? What does he do? What does he look like? Where's he from? Her questions come like rapid gunfire. Evie, I say in between each question, having to shout the last one to get her attention. She snaps her mouth shut. You're right. This calls for reinforcements. Reinforcements. Exactly. Chapter 15. Oh my goodness. Nora squeals, placing her hand over her heart as we sit in a row of spin machines. Sweat dripping from our bodies. Upbeat music blares, overpowering the sound of wheezing breaths and the whirring of the wheels on the stationary bikes. It's better than any movie. It was meant to be. I roll my eyes at her reaction to the story I'd just told, slightly breathless, about meeting Lincoln in Vegas. It's a total fairy tale. Fairy tales all end with, and they lived happily ever after. I taunt, using air quotes, imitating her light, dreamlike voice. That's not us. Nora scowls, an adorable pout on her face, as if she'd just learned a car had hit her childhood dog. What makes you think that? It's too soon to be planning a future with him. I pedal harder, pretending to focus on my workout when, in reality, I want to flip off the instructor, who seems to get off on people's anguished expressions. If I hear her say pain is weakness leaving the body one more time, I'll show her some real pain. We agreed to take things slow. Evie snorts a laugh. Yeah, him practically telling you he owns your pussy is really taking things slow. He didn't say he owns my pussy. I protest, somewhat loudly. A few people glance in our direction, the women scrunching their nose in disgust at my use of the word pussy. It makes me want to shout it repeatedly at the top of my lungs. He'd stolen yet another pair of my panties, and I haven't been home long enough to drop off my clothes at the laundromat, so I had to go commando. When an attractive man in his 30s looks our way, I flash him a smile, then notice the wedding band on his hand as he not so subtly adjusts his shorts, facing my friends. I lower my voice to avoid any more stares. Once I told him that, well, you can fill in the blanks. He didn't want anyone to catch a glimpse of what could be his. But don't worry, it's not his yet. I still own this pussy. And his cock, by the sounds of it. Nora chimes in. I don't own his cock. Evie and Nora share a look before fixing their gazes back on me. You do, they say simultaneously. Impossible. We haven't even known each other a week. Not to mention, I didn't know his name until Tuesday. That's only 3 days ago, hell. The only thing I know about him is that he's a lawyer. I don't even know what kind of law he practices. I trail off as I shift my eyes to the large mirrored walls, the reflection of dozens of people's legs cycling on their spin machines dizzying. But there's one way to find out. I grab my phone off the bike and navigate to the browser. What are you doing? Evie asks, a brow quirked up, slowing her pedaling. Googling him. Her eyes widen as she shares a look with Nora yet again. In a heartbeat, she snatches the phone out of my hands. No, don't. What? I get that you're a curious person by nature, that you love digging for dirt on every celebrity out there, and you're damn good at it. She waves my phone in front of me. But don't do that here. The instructor increases the resistance on the bikes and we all pedal even harder, the ache in my legs a temporary distraction. When I agreed to that first non-date with Julian, Evie continues, panting, I had no idea who he was, and it's probably a good thing. I'm not sure I would have gone. I probably would have second-guessed the entire scenario. Hell, I did that anyway. But having no clue who he was allowed me to relax and get to know him. I never looked him up. Apart from that one time you showed me his Wikipedia page, I got to learn about Julian from him, not the internet. She exhales a breath, her face reddening. And who the fuck decided spin classes were a good idea? Her eyes dart to Nora. It was you. Wasn't it sadist? Why can't we have girls' time with ice cream instead? That's a different situation. I argue when Nora simply shrugs in response to Evie's accusation. Julian Gage is well known. Lincoln Moore isn't. How do you know? Nora asks. Then does a double take, brows furrowed. Wait a minute. His name is Lincoln Moore. Yes, I answer in a drawn-out voice. She stares at me, mouth agape. I brace myself to find out he's now officially off limits due to the girl code. Before she settled down with Jeremy, her fiancé, she was a dateaholic. We often compared war stories about what it's like finding someone you feel a connection with in the New York City wildlife. I never cared about the connection. Not like Nora, although she claims she didn't, either. That she was simply enjoying her 20s, secretly. I could tell she was looking for more than a fleeting romp in the sack. Maybe I was too, but I didn't realize it. Damn, that's a great name. Lincoln Moore. She fans herself, continuing to pedal, making it appear effortless when everyone else in the class is ready to stick the instructor's head on a spike in revolt. I suppose owning a yoga and meditation studio has its benefits. Does he have you begging for more? She grins mischievously. No. I pause before breaking into a smile, more like screaming. That's my girl. Nora reaches toward me and we bump fists. Some may find our conversation inappropriate, but we've never shied away from topics some consider taboo. That's probably why I've remained friends with Nora and Evie, and even Izzy, for as long as I have. They're as comfortable with discussing sex as I am. Scream for more all you want, Evie interjects. Just promise you won't Google him. He Googled me first. I bet he did, she says under her breath. To send you underwear, Nora reminds me. Not to figure out who you are. I know how you work. You'll find something random and convince yourself not to pursue him. Don't get to know him. Don't assume he has some weird fetish because you misread something while stalking his social media profiles. Well, he does have a weird fetish. They perk up? For my panties. We all erupt in laughter, eliciting a few glares, but we ignore them. I'm happy for you, Chloe, Nora says in all sincerity. Me too, Evie adds. And, for the love of a magical penis, will you take some of your own advice? My own advice. Exactly. When I wasn't sure what to make of Julian going from hot to cold in 3.5 seconds, do you remember what you told me? I don't immediately respond. You told me to enjoy the ride. On his rocket. I add to cut through the tension. She smiles for a second before fixing her expression once more. Yes, and I'll give you the same advice here. Chloe, I've known you 5 years. And I've known you 10, Nora pipes up. I've never seen you this excited about a guy. I don't think I've ever seen you excited about a guy. Period, Evie offers. then adds quickly, "Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing. I want you to be happy. If that means pursuing something serious with Lincoln Moore, great. If you want to keep things casual, that's great, too. Don't think too much. Let life lead you down the path you're meant to travel." I take a swig of my water, giving her a smug grin. Strange words coming from a woman who, 6 months ago, used to plan every minute of every day down to the nanosecond. Evie playfully punches my bicep. "I did not. At least not down to the nanosecond." She winks. "But you know what I mean. I understand how it is when you find yourself in uncharted territory. You overanalyze everything. I know I do. And as much as you'd like to think we're opposites, we're more alike than you think. So have fun with Lincoln Moore." "You can just call him Lincoln." She pauses, her eyes scrunched together in contemplation, before she quickly shakes her head. "Nope. Can't do it. His name rolls off the tongue too perfectly." She's right, Nora agrees. It does. "It really is the perfect last name for a sex god." Evie giggles. "I never said he was a sex god. You didn't have to." Nora states, "It goes with the territory." "What territory?" Nora and Evie share yet another look. It makes me wonder if they have a secret code when it comes to me. I've never exactly given them a reason to focus on me. For the past 5 years, our friendship has focused on Nora's seemingly never-ending search for Mr. Right, while insisting all she cared about was a decent Leigh, although we all knew she wanted more. To our surprise, she met someone on Tinder who felt the same. Then there was Evie's breakup with her longtime boyfriend and her whirlwind fake relationship with one of Manhattan's most eligible bachelors, which ended up being a lot more real than either intended. Compared to them, my life is boring, mainly because I tend to keep the details to myself. Evie pinches her lips together before answering. "You have high standards," says the girl who once berated me for sleeping with anything with a pulse. To which you replied you were sampling the buffet before you went back for seconds. "Precisely. My point exactly, Chloe. You rarely go back for seconds. I've seen a few guys more than once," I argue. "True," Nora says, finally piping up, "but I think this time's different." I roll my eyes. All I promised him was a chance to get to know me. He left the ball in my court, so to speak. "Well, if I were you," Evie begins, "I wouldn't wait to throw that ball. I'd toss it now. Hell, I'd spike it to show him you're not stringing him along. He knows I'm not." "Trust me," Nora interjects. "A single, attractive man who's interested in more than a quick fling is a rarity, especially in New York. Most men you'll meet are either married to their career, married to their bachelorhood, or married to their wives. Yes, you say all he's asking for is a chance to get to know you, but he's giving you a chance too. Don't fuck it up." "Gee, thanks for the words of encouragement." My tone oozes sarcasm. She shrugs. "What are friends for?" Nora's and Evie's warnings seem to play on repeat in my mind for the rest of the afternoon and evening, festering, making it impossible for me to concentrate on anything other than Lincoln and what he's doing. Is he out with friends at work? Having dinner with another woman he's also sent panties to? The idea of him stealing another woman's panties is all the motivation I need to get off the couch, shower, and make my way to his apartment. He surprised me with a present at work today. What better way to spike the ball back onto his side of the court than by showing up at his apartment wrapped in a present for him, bringing my hand up to the door. I knock softly, my insides vibrating with anticipation of how Lincoln will react. I strain to listen for any sound coming from within. At first, there's nothing but silence. Then I hear a faint rustling. Shoeless footsteps gradually grow closer. There's a pause, and I assume Lincoln's checking to see who could be here at 10 on a Friday night. When the door opens, he peers at me with a furrowed brow. He parts his lips, presumably to ask me what I'm doing here, but I place a finger over them, silencing him. Without saying a word, I loosen the belt on my coat and slowly unfasten each of the buttons, allowing my jacket to fall open, exposing my body clad in the negligee he'd sent me earlier. "Fuck!" he hisses, his jaw clenched, nostrils flaring, a bull in heat. His gaze rakes over me, calculating, agonizing, as if imprinting every inch of me to memory. Approaching him, I stand on my toes, my lips ghosting against his. That's the plan, Mr. Moore. A growl rips from his throat as he tugs my body hard against his mouth covering mine, devouring, possessing, consuming. I curve into him, signaling with my acquiescence to his touch that I'm his for the night, maybe longer.